Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Talking Options podcast. I'm your host, Tanner Schulze, and today we have a new co-host. Her name is Louise. Louise, want to tell me a bit about yourself?
My name is Louise, and I'm one of the nurses that works at Options Pregnancy Resource Center. I run pregnancy tests and do ultrasounds to confirm pregnancy, and I'm a wife and mom.
How long have you been married for?
About 4.5 years almost, so
Nice.
yeah.
Do you have one kid or two kids?
I have two. One of them just turned 2, and the other's about 6 months or so.
Awesome. So the topic we're going to be tackling today in Talking Options is healthy habits during pregnancy. And the first question that I have for you is, what are some of the most important healthy habits that a woman should develop during pregnancy?
Yeah. Some of those habits are the same things that you would consider to be healthy when you're not pregnant as well. So good sleep, healthy eating, good exercise, and then drinking plenty of water. The basics, really.
Yeah, definitely. That leads us into our next question. Are there any everyday habits? Obviously, a lot of the habits that people already do just to stay healthy are good during pregnancy, but are there any habits people should try to avoid as well that might be everyday habits?
Yes, for sure. So one of those things would be if someone drinks alcohol, that's definitely not recommended during pregnancy. Any form of smoking, whether that be marijuana or tobacco, is also not recommended. Or vaping either. Obviously, we always discourage things like illicit drugs, pregnant or not. But then even some over-the-counter medications like ibuprofen are discouraged, at least during certain times of pregnancy. So it's always good to check with the doctor or midwife to make sure, like, is this medication okay or not? Some people then would be worried about, like, if they're taking, like, mental health medications. Some of those aren't recommended during pregnancy, but you're also not supposed to just cut them out like cold turkey. So, definitely
it can
working
get a
with-
little complicated with like medications and stuff.
Yes, for sure. So talking with a doctor, like, is this one okay during my whole pregnancy, just part of my pregnancy? Should I stop at cold turkey? Do we need to wean off of it, switch to something else? There's a lot of varying factors that they'll look at to see, like, risk-benefit ratios, things like that.
Yeah. So would you say a good rule of thumb for, as far as like consuming stuff, would you say a good rule of thumb is since the baby hasn't even been born yet and hasn't experienced anything, keeping it to like natural stuff is probably best for the baby?
Probably that's a pretty good rule of thumb.
Yeah,
So,
like things like chemicals, drugs, that kind of stuff.
right. So if it's a mild headache and you're like, you know what, a nap would fix this, or maybe I'm dehydrated, try taking a nap and drinking some water versus taking some medication. But if you're like, nope, this is going to be a migraine and I'm going to be out, Tylenol is probably fine. And then if you're needing something stronger than that, work with a doctor. Be like, hey, I'm having lots of headaches, and Tylenol's not cutting it. Sleep isn't fixing it. Following up with the doctor is never a bad idea.
Yeah, and I was about to ask, whenever you're conflicted on a decision or you're not well informed on it, going to a doctor is probably best practice when you're pregnant.
For sure. It can be really tempting to look online, but talking to somebody that you know and trust personally is less stressful because you're not having to sort through conflicting information yourself. You can run it by somebody that you know and trust.
Yeah, don't believe everything you see on the internet. And then we already talked a little bit about sleep and hydration, but how much of that should expectant mothers prioritize?
Yeah. So sleep, especially during pregnancy, can sometimes be challenging, but definitely will help you feel so much better. So 7 to 10 hours is probably the recommendation. However, it can be a little challenging to get that much sleep, especially if maybe it's not your first pregnancy, you already have children. So kind of just do your best, practice good sleep hygiene habits, sleeping in a dark room, don't be on your phone in bed, things like that. And then if you're not able to get enough sleep and you're still really exhausted, if you're able to take a nap later in the day, great, go ahead, take a nap. If that's not possible, maybe just give yourself a little grace and recognize this is a season. You might be tired for a little bit, so doing your best to get as much sleep as possible without then like feeling you need to like stop everything else in your life if you're not getting that ideal 7 to 10 hours.
Perfect. Speaking of hydration, this ad isn't for pregnant women because you can confirm caffeine isn't great for pregnant women for the babies.
A little bit's okay. About 200 milligrams a day max is the recommendation, but less is always preferred.
Yeah, less is always better. But if you guys aren't pregnant or know somebody who isn't pregnant, which I think is pretty likely, you should check out 7 Weeks Coffee. They are a coffee brand that sponsors us. They make high-end, mold-free coffee. It's better than anything you're going to find in the store. It's better than anything you're going to get from Starbucks or Dutch Bros or whatever. We have a link in our description, and if you click that link, it directly supports us. So make sure to go do that if you need some better coffee. Now, for my favorite part of our podcast episodes is our trivia section, and I have 3 baby-themed questions for you today, and let's see if you can get them right. First question is, how many baby teeth does a child usually have?
Oh. Let me do some thinking because
I'll give you a hint. It's less than us.
16?
20. So you
20.
were close.
sorry.
The next one, this one, I really hope you're going to get it right. What is the average length of a full-term pregnancy?
The average length of a full-term pregnancy?
Yes.
40 weeks.
Correct. And then the last question is, in the U.S., what is a newborn baby's average weight?
Oh. How precise of an answer are you looking for?
In a range of pounds.
Okay.
Just like, give me a range.
I'd say probably 7 to 8.
That is the exact range I have written right here. So perfect. She is knowledgeable. You guys can trust her. How should nutrition change when someone becomes pregnant? Are there any foods that they should focus on having more of? And are there foods that they should focus on having less of? Obviously artificial foods, but...
Right. Yeah, prioritizing whole foods is always healthier for you, pregnant or not. Protein is definitely a good thing to focus on. Things that are good sources of iron as well. So if you're not vegetarian, meat is a good source of iron. And with your body producing not only your own blood, but helping then to produce blood for the baby, or provided what's needed for the baby to produce its own blood technically. But you're going to need extra protein, extra iron, extra calories in general. But protein especially is very helpful. It'll help keep you fuller. It will help regulate your blood sugars. It'll make sure that your body doesn't have to take away from your own muscles to give the amino acids that the baby needs. The iron will help you to not get anemic. Your baby also needs calcium for the bones that it's producing. So if you don't want your body to be taking the calcium from your own bones, you want to prioritize getting lots of calcium as well. So sometimes you can get that all just from your diet, but for a lot of women, they need supplements. So prenatal vitamins are always good. They kind of fill in the gaps where diet doesn't get you quite enough. Dairy is a good source of calcium. To promote best absorption of iron and calcium, if you have those at different meals or different times, then that helps both to be absorbed better. That's a recommendation. The first trimester, you don't really need more calories, but second and third trimester, as the baby gets bigger, you do need more calories. About 300 extra calories a day, so like a good snack. Again, prioritizing that protein is really the biggest recommendation that studies are coming up with more recently is what they're finding.
Definitely, yeah. What role does exercise play in having a healthy pregnancy? Does exercise have any direct effect on the baby, or is it just something that's just best practice when you're pregnant?
It does affect the baby in the sense that it promotes good blood flow and good oxygenation. So as you're exercising, it gets your heart rate up. You're taking deeper breaths, which as the baby grows, it presses up against your diaphragm. And so it can be more tiring to exercise as you get further into pregnancy, but it's still good for your lungs and then also to get the baby plenty of good oxygen. Exercise can also help balance your own blood sugars, which then indirectly affects the baby, because then the baby has a more steady blood sugar as well. And so it's not producing spikes of insulin in response to your blood sugar changing. And then exercise also helps with having a good amount of weight gain, so not too much. But obviously you're still going to gain some weight during pregnancy. You're supposed to.
Yeah, you only have another person inside.
Right. But then the other thing is that exercise has been linked to better labor and delivery and better recovery postpartum, just because your body's more conditioned and labor is called labor for a reason, right? Mm-hmm. It is a form of exercise, if you will. Mm-hmm. So if your body's in a good shape beforehand, then it will do better in labor as well. In general, obviously there's things that can come up unexpectedly. You can't control for everything, but doing what you can is always recommended.
Absolutely, yeah. The last question I have for you is, if someone feels overwhelmed by all the advice online, which we know can be misleading, where should they start? Do you think places like our pregnancy center would be a good place to find information?
For sure. Pregnancy centers give you a lot of information. They can answer questions about pregnancy, what to expect, and get you connected with resources in the community. Similarly, finding a doctor or a midwife that you trust is also great. And then talking to people in person, I always recommend that. So whether that is someone at a pregnancy center, or maybe you have a good relationship with your mom, or maybe you go to a church or a community center and there's some other young moms there that you can talk to. Those in-person interactions will help with not being so anxious, because then you're not just overwhelmed with tons and tons of conflicting ideas. You're going to trusted sources. There's just something so much healthier about that. So
yeah.
That's definitely recommended.
Yeah. Always go to the professionals before you trust some Reddit post online or something like that.
Yeah. You never know what you're going to find, especially Reddit. There's some good things and then there's some way out things there.
Perfect. Well, anyways, that wraps up our second episode of the Talking Options podcast. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to follow our other social media, which is also in our description, along with that 7 Weeks coffee link. If you need better coffee, make sure to go click it. And thank you so much for watching.